I think we all know to pick our next sheets basis the field temperature and weight and not thread count. Let us now call upon stage our next speaker, Mr. Priyaranjan Kumar, an experienced sales and marketing professional. With over 20 years of leadership in top consumer brands, he specializes in the go-to-market strategies, retail analytics, and business transformation for direct-to-consumer brands. He's also an author, consultant, and teaches at leading management schools in India. Welcome, Mr. Kumar. A big round of applause.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Sorry, good afternoon. Just on the cusp. So I thought that we are beginning this session, which is about sleep. So I came across this, and a few of you may not understand this. What it means is that you may have 100 problems in life. The solution is only one. You sleep for some time, and things will become better. So that's what it says. 100 problems, one solution. So jao. I think it's very, very, connected to what the theme is, and I'll talk a bit about what I have done in my life and my career in the last 20 years. And then what's my take on the Indian consumer space right now. And I've had the good fortune of, working for 20 years in various industries. So I started my career selling aluminum roofing sheets. Then I went into a very interesting category of selling pharmaceuticals. Then it was Kingfisher beer, again, very three different kind of products. And I learned my lessons of consumer loyalty there. Then I moved to a product called Mars Chocolates, where I was one of the early people in the company. Then I moved to South to manage the business for Nivea. Last 10 years had been in retail. I was with Pantaloons for a long time, which is an apparel fashion brand. All of you would have known that and would have shopped at Pantaloons. And my last couple of stints were with Snapdeal, where I helped them to scale up their offline business, and it was a project which they had started off. And my latest stint was with Ananta Capital, where for a brief period of time I was also managing the Springwell mattress business. So that was my initiation with the world of mattress and the world of sleep, and the problems and the difficulties which our people on the ground face when consumers come to shop with them, and what they look for and ask for. So this has been my career span. The good thing is that India is a very large country. It's got 37 states and union territories. I've worked in 32 of them for the last 20 years. So I've covered, at least I know a broad sense of what the consumer landscape is and how the consumer is changing in today's world. Because I've seen consumers in pharmacy retail. I've seen consumers in Springwell mattress. I've seen consumers in fashion, in value fashion. I've seen consumers in high-end fashion. So I have an understanding of there is a bit of commonality across consumers, where they are and where they are very, very different. I also teach at various business schools. I'm an author. I'm also doing my PhD in strategy. I teach at various business schools. So that's a bit about me. So it gives you a context of where I'm talking about. And so my take is very, very unconventional. So it will not be. It may not. A lot of you may not find it, which is very close to what you think. But that's what I think I was invited for, to share my experience as to and what do I think about this industry right now. So Indian consumers, India is not a homogeneous mass. It's a very, very heterogeneous mass. It has about 3 segments, and some of you would have heard it, that it's got India 1, India 2, and India 3. So it's not 140 crore consumers. It's got 3 sets of very, very distinct consumers. So first set of consumer is about 12 crore people. That's where all the action is happening. That's where all the action of D2C, all the action of whenever you're talking about these thread counts, and that's what the discerning consumer is. That's where everybody is fighting for, this set of 12 crore people. And you have the next set, which is about 10 crore people, and you have 120 crore people, which is still about trying to figure out the essentials. So there's a very distinct difference in how they think, see, and choose brands. And the first thing is that I learned this lesson of consumer loyalty. So I was working with Kingfisher beer, and I learned this lesson of consumer loyalty there, that at 10 o'clock in the night, when you're looking for beer, it takes one statement from the salesman to change your brand. It just has to say Kingfisher is not chilled. And there's going to be 100% shift in the consumer from Kingfisher to Haywards. So that's consumer loyalty. I learned that there's a consumer that way also, right? So all this while I'd been thinking that, there's great brand loyalty and people stick to their brands. So what I'm trying to say is that it is more so a choice and a compulsion equation which helps you to flit in and out of your most favorite brands. So these 12 crore people who are at the top, actually it's choice for them. And the choices are like many. And everybody is fighting for them. Everybody knows how to reach them, which is through digital marketing. Everybody knows how to reach them. I mean, I have managed a lot of stores in my life, so the favorite pastime of all the salespeople in the stores is calling up people. Ask them what do they do for 8 hours, they'll say for 4 hours we're just calling up. And all of you would be getting calls, right? I myself get a lot of calls. Somebody would be calling you for garments or apparel, somebody will be calling from homeware, kitchenware, wherever. So all these 12 crore consumers are actually where everybody is looking to get a pie of that share. And then you have the bottom layer, which is compulsion. So they are forced by the situation, they are forced by their earning potential as to which is the largest chunk of people. And actually, I think we are not targeting them. And for reasons we understand that it may not make any economic sense to target them, so therefore we are not targeting them, which is fair. And then you have the cohort in between, which is like a fence sitter, which may on occasions where we declare the end of season sales, jumps on the side, and the favorite demand for all salespeople on the ground is give us discounts to sell. And that is where it caters to all these fence sitters that they are able to get some chunk out of it. But a lot is still at the top end, which is the choice. And and if we've been following the Indian economy closely, there's been two very distinct things which are happening. So I don't know how many of you follow the stock market, but October and November have been horrid months for the Indian stock market. So while a lot of companies have declared that about 36 BSE 500 companies have been stating that the profit plunge has been about 50%. But on the other side, you see that the GST collections are rising. I think it's going up. You look at every month, there's been a year-on-year increase in the GST collections. So while a lot of companies are talking, the top companies are saying that we are losing market share and we are losing profitability. On the other hand, you have the GST collections which are going up. So there are two things which are happening very clearly which is not adding up, right? At some point, it's not adding up. That how can it happen that people who had the largest market share are actually losing share and still the business is growing? So very clearly, people who had to make a choice are making that choice of moving away from those companies. Until this point in time, it was more a compulsion that they had the compulsion of, did not have the flexibility of so many brands. I think we have the founder of Sleep Company here, create a beautiful business, and I've been following you closely when I was managing the business for Springwell for a brief period of time. So yes, it's a fact of life. It was actually a sleeping category. There was nothing happening in the category. For a long time, it was sleeping. The Sleep Company has suddenly decided to wake it up. Pun intended. So that's how it has happened. So that's what is happening in the consumer landscape. That on one hand, you have large companies, traditional companies who are losing share. On the other side, you have a lot of new companies who are gaining share. A lot of 100 crore companies suddenly have sprung up, which are D2C segment. Lots and lots of companies which are doing a business of about 100 crores run rate. That's clearly somebody is losing share, and that's the top companies. So what it's likely to see hyper competition. Because the good thing about D2C is access, everybody can access it. The bad thing is that it creates a lot of competition. So if 100 people decide to go from point A to point B using Google Maps, you're surely to see a red map there, red flag there. Because everybody uses the same thing, and D2C is like that. Everybody uses the same principles, everybody uses a Shopify website, everybody uses the tools of digital marketing, everybody knows how to create demand through Facebook and Instagram. The cost of customer acquisition is going up. So what we are likely to see in the next maybe 5 to 10 years is going to be hyper competition. Hyper competition, which probably India has never seen in terms of hyper competition for those 12 crore people. To get a wallet share from those 12 crore people. And what's the economic definition of perfect competition? The economic definition of perfect competition is theoretical market structure with no monopolies. Actually, all the large companies till this point in time had been making a lot of money because it was a monopolic structure, or it was a duopolic structure. So therefore, people had the choice. People didn't have the choice. It was more a compulsion. So people made a lot of money. But now what's going to happen is increasingly you will have high customer acquisition cost. Very, very high customer acquisition cost, which is only going to increase in the future. And then what we are seeing right now, this will get played out in bigger, in bigger shape and form. It will be increasingly hard to make profits. And that's what happens in perfect competition. When you have too many buyers and too many sellers, nobody is able to charge a premium, and therefore nobody is able to make a lot of money. And that is exactly opposite of what had happened in the past, where people made a lot of money. Now it's going to be increasingly difficult. So while you see suddenly there's a lot of talk around profitability, you are able to scale up to a business to about 100 crores, 150 crores, and then it's people then obviously then investors try and push you towards profitability. You don't know that model. It's very difficult to make a business profitable in the current context, and increasingly difficult in the future because you'll have many more players. So I was also managing a brand called Bella Vita. I'm sure a lot of you would have heard about that brand, called fragrance brand. So we've seen the brand has scaled up to nearly a run rate of about 30-40 crores per month, but it's increasingly hard to make money online. Increasingly hard, because the customer acquisition cost is going up. So that's one thing which is happening very, very distinctly in the market, that you have hyper competition. The ways to make money are going to be, or ways to turn profitable are going to be increasingly difficult. I'm not saying it's not possible, but it's going to be increasingly tough. So what's there in the future? What lies in the future? So I heard, when I think, well, I'm with as I said, it's going to be unconventional take and nothing personal. But I really personally feel that the days of attribute marketing are over. Because everybody talks about the same. It's very difficult to differentiate. Everybody talks about the same buttery feel, same softness, and that's where people, I think, to get more tangibility to it, they introduce the concept of thread count, so that there is some kind of a, proof to what you are saying, that, okay, we are, 300 TC or we are 400 TC. But the days of future attribute marketing are over. The days of, I think, celebrity marketing is also numbered, because now consumers are more and more discerning. They understand Shah Rukh Khan never has driven a Honda in his life and will never drive a Honda in his life. So people may not have understood this 15 years back, but now they understood it very well, because they're very close to the celebrities through Instagram. 15 years back, nobody was close to the celebrities. Now they're very well connected. They know what their lifestyle is. So definitely they know what the celebrities are using in their personal life. So it's very difficult for a Katrina Kaif to sell a slice anymore, because on one hand, when you're talking about fitness and we're talking about sugar, you can't be endorsing a brand which is completely sugar. So that's what the Indian consumer is becoming more and more aware about what's happening in the market. So therefore, I feel that the days of traditional marketing are numbered. It is just a matter of time, maybe 4 years, 5 years. Then what lies next? And very interestingly, something is happening in the Indian context of the consumer, which is, what is selling is this: fear. So you have a new industry which has sprung up in the last couple of years, which is astrotech. A lot of people going into astrology, looking for online astrologers. Fear of the unknown. Spiritual tech. Fear of the God. And businesses have been created which is like astronomical numbers. There's an app which is now doing close to 600 crores business. So, there's something which is happening in the Indian market, right? There is this fear of the unknown, or what's likely to happen, and consumers are gravitating towards it. In fact, while in the flight, I saw the founder of that company posted that, there's a celebrity, I think some Bollywood star had texted him in the night that, I am facing a problem in my life. I need the best guy in your team, to help me. So this is what is happening. So fear. So fear is one thing. I'm not saying this should be done, but I'm saying this is what is happening. This is what is selling. Okay. The next is hope. So the other industry which is on fire is beauty and personal care. So you see lots and lots of these skincare brands, lots and lot of these fragrance brands. They are going through the roof in terms of their connect with the consumer, their business. So very clearly, two things: fear and hope. And when you intertwine this with technology, is where you'll have the greatest combination. And that is what is happening. So from an experience point of view for the Indian consumer, if you're able to create a Trinity of Fear, Hope, and Technology in your retail stores, in your communication, in your connect, I'm sure that combination is going to work. And that was my short presentation. I'm open to questions, and thank you for inviting me and having me over here, and look forward to any questions. Thank you.
When you're talking about perfect competition and no monopolies, I mean, understand that. But in a country like India, where probably 90% sale is offline, and there's something called retail space. By virtue of having a retail space, you create a blocks for others. How do you think, what will happen to that? I know there is going to be some shift from 10 to 20% in online space, but still large space is controlled by few companies. How will that matter in times to come?
See, the shift is happening dramatically. So I was just reading somewhere that between Zepto, Blinkit, and Zomato, there's a 32,000 crore market which has been created in the last couple of years. Now, this 32,000 crore market has not come inorganically, right? It's been taken from somewhere. And this is an organic shift because we are paying for something which is called convenience. And the only thing which people do in life once they start to earn little more money is convenience. So when it's difficult to walk, people earn money, they buy a bicycle, then you go to a motorcycle, then you go to a car, then you go to a chauffeur-driven car, and finally you go to a jet. So what is it that you're doing in this journey? You're just buying convenience. So at the end of the day, what you will see in offline market, whether you create retail stores, I believe and I feel strongly that retail stores will end up becoming more like showrooms and more like display centers. They are going to be less. It's going to be more and more difficult to sell out of those stores. While it may be there just for a display, and a showrooming business, for example, it may just turn out to be a showrooming business. Because if you see in this industry, and I was with Springwell, the daily footfall in a busy location used to be in single digits. So if you have a single digit footfall, it doesn't make any sense to open a retail store. You'll have an experience store, you'll have a showroom. But it's not called a retail store. So creating a retail store just like, to block competition, I don't think that will be an answer, because people will gravitate towards convenience. This is what 12 crore people are gravitating towards convenience. All this 32,000 crore market has been created from these 12 crore people in India. Okay. Thank you very much. Have a good day.